Hello and welcome to the show. My special guest this week is Naomi Findlay, the superstar, the lady behind the renovation show on Property TV. She joins me in just a moment. Hey, here are the stories we're going to track through today and discuss. If you buy this mower, we're going to chuck in an island. How good a deal is that? We've got some, we're going to take you through some architectural porn. Purplebricks, they've failed again and again and again. Properties with personality and character that's not going to cost you the earth. Back in just a moment.
Did you know you can save up to 70% on your staff costs by outsourcing the low-value, repeatable tasks so your team can focus on growing your business? Beepo is an outsourcing provider focused on the real estate industry. With an English-speaking, tertiary qualified and fully trained team in the Philippines, Beepo will give your business the boost it needs to start growing and returning value to you. For more information, visit beepo.com.au.
And joining me is my co-host, Naomi Findlay from The Renovation Show. G'day, Naomi. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, just sensational. So nice to be talking. I am loving your show, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. We're actually deep in filming for series 3 at the moment. So the reason we do it is we not only love sharing it, but we love filming it. So yeah. I'm with you. I'm really enjoying it at the moment.
Yeah, well, I love all the shows we do, and because I've just got this fascination with real estate. There's, anytime real estate or property or renovation or anything happens, it just sort of lights up my life. So that's why I enjoy talking to you.
It's addictive, isn't it? It's addictive.
Fantastic. And we've got, some great plans ahead for the next year or two. So watch out on Property TV. And let's get into our first story, Naomi. And this one comes from Australian islands. And I said at the intro, if you buy a mower, then you'll get the island. And I've got to tell you, if you get the island, that's about all you're going to get, because as you'll see in some of the photographs here, there's really just a shed and a lawnmower. I don't think it's even a ride-on mower, is it?
Oh, no, you know what? I was reading in detail because I was quite fascinated by this ad. It had me in stitches, Kevin, because you actually get 2 ride-ons when you buy it.
Oh, okay, 2.
But 2, it's very special. But the part that cracked me up the most, not only looking at the images, they show you the amazing stormwater, which doesn't exist, and they talk about the fact that you'll have enough power to run a light, which is awesome, and it has a circuit breaker in it. But the part that I love the most is they've gone down to even inventorying the trees. So there's 18 mango trees and 1 carambola tree.
Yeah, and what is a carambola tree? Do you know?
I don't know.
Did you search
I didn't have time to Google it. But I was just giggling like it's obviously a beautiful part of the world. They let us know that water isn't a trouble, that they get plenty of rain, but they are working hard to sell this place, I tell you.
Totally. But you know what fascinated me too was that you can just simply walk out of the little lean-to, which is pretty much all you're going to get, and you've got all this fabulous fishing and crabbing. You wouldn't really have to go to the shops. Well, you couldn't, because it's such a hike. But it just, these islands always fascinate me, and you sort of, this romantic thing about living on an island. I just wonder how practical it would be.
Oh, well, I thought about it from the perspective of, right, if I got together 10 families, it'd only be 38K each, and we could all just go and camp on it.
Yeah.
Because from a location and a land perspective, it's amazing. I'm smiling at how hard they're working to try and show that there's value in the structure. Yeah, I think that's the cutest part.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's not freehold, it's a leasehold. I think there's a fair bit of time left on the leasehold as well.
Yeah, they said 8 years with a renewal of 25. So, my family would be well and truly out of the nest by the time we'd finished camping there and the lease was up.
Well, I don't think I'd get my wife there, to be quite frank. It would have to be like a boys' hangout or something like that. So if I had a spare bit of cash and I wanted to do it. Anyway, dream on, Kevin.
What's really interesting about it is they didn't mention anywhere, just speaking of your wife or anyone who may require sanitation, I don't think they detailed anywhere on there anything about sanitation. So it may be a shovel all the way, all year round.
Well, and that alone would be a deal breaker for Carolyn, I can tell you.
I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah. Hey, just want to remind you that Real Estate Talk is out tomorrow. The show comes out. We're going to talk about interest rates and how they do not affect property prices. We're going to tell you when you can find out if an agent is actually bluffing, how to reach millions of potential buyers. A great story, this one. The difference between winners and losers, what is it? It's one thing, just one thing, and we tell you about it in the show. And I'm also going to tell you where there are 10 locations in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. I think they're the only 3 caps we cover. There are 10 locations in each of those cap cities where over the next 3 years, the person I speak to is saying that property prices are going to grow by 23%. So therefore, don't miss the show. It's on tomorrow. Real Estate Talk, it is out tomorrow. Hey, Naomi, let's go to story number 2. This one comes from News Limited. Getting some architectural porn. We're going to show you a few photos. I think we are on this one. Yeah, we are.
I was mesmerised by this. A couple of the topics in today's show, I spent way longer than I should poring over, realistically, last night. And this was certainly one of them. And the standout, you know what I love about awards? I love it when they get it right.
Yes.
That is so exciting. And from my perspective, they have absolutely gotten it right here. Like that Dalesford Longhouse, when you read into that more, what they have achieved, not only with, using an existing structure, but it's like my concept of space medicine on steroids. Like there's an existing structure that's a blend of work and home and inside and outside. Like it is an absolute deserved winner, and I love the natural elements. There are trees inside the structure. I think it's a phenomenal winner in this case.
You can tell, can't you? And you're talking there about all those different elements, but when you get the balance right, you can really feel it. It's when you get the balance wrong that it's just so obvious.
And you know what? That's actually quite an innate thing. So this whole idea of needing to be connected to nature, it's actually a primitive need of ours. We need to be connected to nature. We need to see foliage because when we see foliage, we know that there's water. When we see water, we know we're going to survive. And so a lot of this is absolutely subconscious, and it's actually a very primitive element inside of us. And you're right, though. Once you're aware of that feeling, so to speak, when someone gets it right, you walk into a place, you feel nurtured, you feel connected, you feel calm, and they, as you've just said, the balance of that in this property is just phenomenal.
Well, just further to that, Naomi, Carolyn and I have just moved. I think I mentioned that to you. And like our previous home was in the suburbs in Brisbane, and we absolutely loved it. We had a great lifestyle there. But we've now moved to a different lifestyle. We're actually on the beach, and it's just the difference. Everything's the same. We're still as busy as we ever were, but we're in a different environment now, and we just feel so different because everything's, with the beach is right there. So all of these things improve your lifestyle.
It does. And there's stats around it. There's phenomenal empirical research around the percentages of increases in efficiency, increases in creativity, increases in overall well-being when we're in the right environments. And, without doubt, this Longhouse has nailed that. I reckon we'd all feel great living there.
Well, check it out for yourself. It's there's a link there, and we've shown you a few photos as well. Hey, Naomi, I want to go to story number 3. This one comes from the Daily Bulletin, and this is a story about Purplebricks, who I love to pick on because I think they are very unethical as a company. When they first came to Australia, and they pulled out of here about 6-8 weeks ago, I think, out of Australia.
Yeah.
But they were their advertising was so misleading, where they were talking about no commission. But there was always an upfront fee which you paid, regardless of whether you sold or not. And a lot of people didn't realise that. They got sucked into this no commission thing, and you would pay a fee even if you didn't sell. So I'm delighted to see that they've now pulled out of America as well. And they were only there for a period of maybe a year or two. So I just think fantastic that they're gone.
And, I was reading this and I thought there were some really interesting points that the commentator made in this piece around, for me, I take working in the real estate industry very seriously from the fact that we are dealing with people who are often at their most stressful times and with, generally speaking, their largest and sometimes only asset, and a large level of responsibility and care needs to be taken when you're in that position of power and influence. And so it was really interesting when I was reading there they were talking about the caliber of agents that often came under that Purplebricks. And for me, I am very black and white when it comes to my money mindset. I do not go to Coles and give them money if I don't take away food. So I don't see why I would pay someone without a result. I don't see why. I get the whole concept of upfront marketing. I get that there is an exchange of service and result, but why would I be paying for my bananas when I didn't get them?
Yeah, it's crazy, and of course they had to mislead people because if you'd said to someone, pay me $2,000. Even if I don't sell your house, you still owe me $2,000. No one would do it.
No one
they
would
had
have
to
done
mislead
it.
people to get them to do it.
And so I have a massive fairness filter. I'm very black and white when it comes to right and wrong. That just blows my mind that can happen. It actually just blows my mind that can be allowed to happen.
Yeah. Well, we actually copped so many complaints from people who were sucked into that. But anyway, enough about them.
Okay, on and up.
We are going to take a very quick break, and then I'll be back and we're going to share some properties with you that have got some real personality, and also, after that, character that's not going to cost you the earth. My guest is Naomi Findlay from the Renovation Show on Property TV, and I'll be back in just a moment.
Your business card is a vital selling tool and a constant visual reminder of who you are, what you do, and more importantly, how you can be contacted. Introducing our new Velvet business cards, featuring a luxurious premium laminate that has a velvet texture and is soft to the touch. Printed on a resilient 450 GSM card, these cards can be printed with a range of spot gloss and foiling options to give your office that prestigious look.
Welcome back to the show. Naomi Findlay from the Renovation Show on PTV
Hey guys.
Yeah. Hey Naomi, let's go to story number 4. We've got some photos to show this one too. Properties with personality. I picked this one exclusively for you because I knew
you would know I had a lot to say about it, didn't you? You knew that I would be like,
yeah, exactly. I was hoping you would do. So there you go.
For me, there's some interesting points around this. When you're looking to sell your home, I absolutely understand what they're saying in this article, that properties have personality and they attract different type of people.
Yes.
You see it happen all the time. I get it. But I think one of the most important things to remember is that we are not FBI profilers and we are not visionaries. We can't tell who is going to be. We have a target market of people that we think are going to be buying our home, but we don't know their actual personalities. We don't know whether they're eclectic. We don't know whether they're traditional. So when you are preparing your home for sale, you actually need to, my mantra is, you must appeal to 80% of the market and polarize not one. So for me, it's not about actually making sure that you're guesstimating and you're trying to understand the personality types. It's more understanding the target market of people that are coming in, and at the same time making sure that there is no polarization of any of those. Because if you have, say you had 8 people running on your property and 3 of them were decent, and you managed to pee off or annoy or polarize one of them, you've lost 30% of your negotiation ability.
That's true.
And so for me, that's a big one. But one thing that they did talk about in this, which I loved, and I'd like to actually take it one step further, is the whole concept of left brain, right brain, the whole concept of emotive and logical. So they're absolutely right. Generally speaking, when we have people buying properties, we have, the emotives, oh my gosh, I can see myself here. I can see the kids playing.
That's right.
And then we have the big, right, TV, check. bedroom, check, kitchen's big enough, garage will fit my car, I'm done. So for me, I think what's really important when people are preparing their homes is they not only look at the overall style, but they cater for left and right brain. Because generally speaking, not necessarily in couples as in husband, wife, partners, but generally speaking, people look at properties together, whether it be with a close friend, whether it be with your dad, whomever it might be with. And generally speaking, we have a left and a right brain right there. So if you want a sale to go amazingly, you must cater to your left and right brains, because when you do, doof, you have the best sale ever. So that's my take on that one. I do love where they're heading with it. However, I think it's really important we don't get caught up too much in the personalities that we think will attract a property, because generally speaking, you'll get it wrong because you will have your subjectivity in the way.
Yeah. Very true and very well said. No doubt that's why you are as successful as you are, Naomi Findlay.
Thank you very much. It's something I do love. I could talk about that for days.
That's why I chose it. Makes my job easy.
You know me well.
Hey, let's go to story number 5. We've got some photos to tell you this one too. Character that's not going to cost you the earth. Nothing says character more than an English cottage, and I just so much enjoyed browsing through some of these photos. Aren't they absolutely delightful? I don't know, Naomi, have you travelled through the UK at all? Have you?
I have. I lived in the UK for quite a long time, and it was where I spent a good glass of wine on that website last night, because it was absolutely breathtaking, and there's just layers and layers of interest and stories and you know what's so interesting is I think that there's so much that we can take from looking at these sorts of properties to bring character and layers into our homes and our renovations over here. Just the level of detail that they go to, the way they think outside the square, the way they enhance the property's shortcomings rather than try and hide them. I was looking at some of the ceiling heights in those. Over here, a lot of people would be like, oh, I need to knock that out and make it a vault. Whereas, over there, it's just seen as one of the elements that make it amazing, and how outrageously affordable.
I know, quite incredible. I think that was the headline of the story, actually, for under 400,000 or 300,000 pounds. So it's very, very affordable. Have you ever had a passion to get a hold of a church and turn that in, or maybe you've done it, or turn that into a residential home? I've actually sold a couple in my time, and you can either get them really right or you can get them really, really wrong. And I think it's a matter of how much you hold on to the original church. But the outside is really where the magic starts.
Oh, 100%. Funny you say that. As you know, I'm actually in the middle of trying to buy a church because I, without doubt, one of my deepest passions, in fact, a bit of a, no spoilers here, but a new show that we're working on is all around this concept. It's all around discovering the beauty that is all around us, discovering our old outhouses, our old town halls, our old homesteads, and helping peel back the years of life that has happened to them to show them in their beauty. So it's actually one of my core drivers, and hence why I was on that page, because I believe that, we may be a really young country compared to Europe and compared to the UK. I totally understand that in regard to, our larger buildings. But we have some phenomenal, I just came back from Hobart. It's absolutely mind-blowing, the beautiful architecture and buildings that we have there. And so it is not just a little bit of a hankering. It is a hankering that is being actioned heavily at the moment. And I think you're right. I think that people either get it really right or really wrong, and it all stems from understanding the story of the property, understanding its highlights, understanding how we can work with that to give ourselves the form and function we need. So it really needs to be, I'm in the middle of actually doing a whole property that is a heritage property, and it's a rose farm. And part of that, we're still in master planning stage, and we've had it for a year. And that is because the master vision needs to be exceptional. Otherwise, it's going to be really wrong.
You'll ruin it, I sometimes think of, we've heard of gentrification of suburbs. suburbs, and we've seen how successful that is. I think there's a trend now towards gentrification of buildings. Some of these older buildings, bringing them,
100%.
bringing them back to life, adding so much more value to them as well.
Absolutely. And the value is not only in the regeneration and the repair of their existing heritage, but the value adding to what they can offer to the community and offer to those that buy them and live in them. It may be a passive income. It might be a co-working space. It might be a home. There are so many options.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. We're out of stories. But Naomi, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thank you very much. Keep up the great work on your show, and love watching it. And you can.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Anytime. And next time, I think we said this last time we spoke, I'd love to get you to do this show inside one of your renovations so that we can actually sort of have a look around. You can take the camera around and show us.
I think that'd be awesome. I love behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, well, let's do some of that. You let me know when you're ready and we'll lock you into the next show.
Sounds fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Good, and watch out for Naomi Findlay on Property TV, the renovation show. It's a fabulous show, don't miss it. And if you do miss it by any chance, you can always go back. The library is there all the time, and all those great shows are there ready for you. And a reminder once again that we've got Real Estate Talk out tomorrow, and a little bit later today we will have Auction Update with Kevin Brogan. Lots coming your way on Property TV. I'm Kevin Turner. I'll see you next time.